Hi, I'm SueAnn and welcome to Cornell Cooperative Extension here in Sullivan County. Today I have a special guest with me and his name is Chef Michael Bell. He is from the Catskill Hospitality Institute over at Suny Sullivan. Welcome, Chef Michael.
Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you. Nice to see you, SueAnn.
Nice to see you too.
So, everyone, today we're going to be making ratatouille from our local gardens. So, we have the basic ingredients here. So, ratatouille is the national dish of France, vegetable dish. It always includes squash. So we have beautiful yellow squash here, zucchini, eggplant is a quintessential part, some form of tomato, and then some herbs and spices, which we have over there, basil and oregano, salt and pepper, and some virgin olive oil. So I'm just going to cut this stuff up. So SueAnn, can you put a little
Sure.
olive oil in there?
And a little oil.
So whenever we're doing this, we always want to add the vegetables that take the longest to cook. So we want our eggplant to come out very, very super creamy. So we need that to break down in the pan. So that's going to be the first thing we're going to add. And some people would take the skin off to make this ratatouille, but for ratatouille, I always leave the skin on. For other applications with eggplant, I may take the skin off or I'll leave it on. But for ratatouille, I like it on. So we put in first our eggplant. So SueAnn, where did you get this eggplant from? Where did you get these vegetables from?
I got these vegetables from Burns Family Farm over in Bethel, New York.
And they grew all of this stuff there?
Yes, yes. And the garlic is from my garden.
Wow.
You know, and that's all I could actually come up with because my garden had been rotted because of all the rain and the weather. So I just got the garlic for you today.
So SueAnn, when do you? A lot of people are unaware, but when do you plant your garlic?
Right about now.
So you plant garlic in October.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
For the next year.
For the next year, yes.
So it grows through the winter.
Yes, it does. And next month, which is October, is National Farm to School Month, and that's why I had asked Chef to come over and do a little demonstration in honor of our Farm to School initiative that we have here at Cornell Cooperative Extension. So, also, I wanted to ask you, Chef, about people using knives and being careful with them, and especially like cutting, say, garlic.
Mm-hmm.
How would you explain to them about this?
So when you use your knife, there's knives, there's little small knives, which we call paring knives. This we call a French knife. So this is your basic utility knife. As you become more experienced in the kitchen, you don't really need a whole array of knives. So I can do basically anything we can do in the kitchen with just this simple knife. But I would say, as far as being safe, when you're cutting up vegetables and whatnot, nothing else matters that's going on around you. Just pay close attention to the blade of the knife and your fingers. And unfortunately, you're going to cut yourself, but at least one time. But maybe you limit it to just once. But it's part of the it's part of the cooking deal. So
yeah, I think I've cut my fingers numerous times by not having a sharp blade.
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. They say a dull knife is worse than a sharp knife, but I hate to say it, but I'm pretty experienced in having cuts. So sharp knives and dull knives will all make a nice cut.
Yes.
SueAnn, could you put a little more olive oil in there?
Yes, absolutely.
So eggplant, when you're cooking it, absorbs lots and lots of your olive oil. So you need to keep it hydrated nicely. So
beautiful.
And we're on kind of a low fire there. We're not rushing through this. We wouldn't be able to rapidly cook a ratatouille. It's something that has to cook nice and slow. So
I read somewhere that this dish originated from poor farmers that had the abundance of their harvest all at one time, and they wanted to use everything that was ripened. So they just took everything from their garden, and that's how they came up with this dish, ratatouille.
That I believe.
Yeah.
That I believe. As we know, particularly here in upstate New York, that the last 2 weeks of August and the first 2 weeks of September, we have an abundance of all kinds of beautiful, vegetables and fruits, and everyone you know is giving you, a bag of a giant zucchini, a giant zucchini, looks like a small child, or, a half dozen over-ripened tomatoes.
Yes.
Or, something else. So that's our growing season here, so that's what we do. So our garlic, we're just going to, fine mince up. Again, I'm just using this kind of a rocking motion here with our blade. So when we cook garlic, we want all the pieces to be uniform so they all cook at the same exact time. I love garlic in food, as many people do, but I don't like, I'm not into raw garlic in my food. So when it's cooked nicely, it's a beautiful accompaniment to anything we do. So we have our garlic there. Next, we'll put in some onion here. And you could use any type of onion. This is what we call a yellow onion, but we could use a white onion, a red onion. As SueAnn said, it's all about what you have on your farm or what people gave you.
I know my brother-in-law gave me a zucchini that was like a baseball club.
Yes.
It was so large, I was like, what am I going to do with this?
And what did you do with it?
Well, I shredded it, and I made zucchini bread out of it.
Oh.
I also cut it into, nice circles, and I'm going to be using that. I froze it, and then I'm going to be using that for like a base of a lasagna, like a vegetable lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an interesting thing.
So we're going to need some type of spoon eventually to serve it.
Okay, excuse me. All right.
That's good. How about one of those wooden vacuums?
Perfect. Okay.
You can give that a little.
Sure.
So anytime we're working with veggies, when we first put them in the pan, we always put a little salt on them. And it's not for flavor, it's to absorb the moisture and let the vegetables start caramelizing. So just a little pinch of salt on our veggies as soon as they go in the pan. And you're going to see that it's going to have a very big effect on the process of cooking there. So now we have our onions and we have the eggplant. So next, what will take the longest after that would be some of these beautiful peppers here. SueAnn, are these vegetables organic?
No, they're not certified organic. They're just grown on his farm. And he, I always see him at our local Sullivan Fresh mobile market in Monticello. He's one of our wonderful vendors there. So that's where I got this beautiful produce from.
So we want, basically everything we put in there, we want it all to be the same. We want it all to be somewhat square, but we want it all to be about the same size. So our eggplant was about that size, so we're going to have our peppers that size also.
Now, do I need to add a little bit more olive oil to this?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So as anytime you work with eggplant, you're going to see that it drinks up the oil, and you have to keep adding.
Yes. It's thirsty.
It's thirsty. It's a thirsty thing. So you see that I still have my garlic here, right? So even though I chopped it up before, I still have it there. And the reason I'm not adding it now is because I don't want it to burn. So if I was to put that in before these vegetables got al dente or somewhat cooked, my garlic is going to be burned and those vegetables are still going to be raw. So that's where we're going to be at. So right now, can we go up a little bit in the fire?
Sure, absolutely.
Fire. What's the highest it goes to? 10?
10.
7 is good.
Oh, 7.
So we're just going to keep stirring.
Okay.
And then
It's sizzling now.
I brought this little knife here that makes squiggly things. So normally we would I would dice this, but right now I'm just going to go and make some pieces like this.
I've actually never seen anything like that, so like I want to run out now and get
Put
one.
it on your list, Susan.
Yes, I will.
So it's nothing special, but it takes a relatively very simple item and, just gives it a little fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
SueAnn, have you ever eaten ratatouille before?
Yes, I have. And I have made this at home for my husband and I, and we love it.
And do you serve it as a vegetable or an entree?
Actually, an entree. Yes. Which is so great.
I mean, I find, that it's like a good thing to flip cooked pasta into or put some cheese on top of it. There's like, a whole array of things you can do with your ratatouille.
And like Chef said, you can use any vegetable filling that you have from your garden or from family, friends. I'll give it to you. Smells really good.
Getting better?
Yes. Everything's coming together nicely.
So we have that going in. So, when we identify that our eggplant is soft and cooked, that's when we're going to speed up. So we're still not there yet with our eggplant. Eggplant takes a while to cook compared to these other vegetables here. So we have that. Then we have some of these beautiful, they look like some type heirloom tomato. That's going to go in there also. So beautiful.
They are. They're very colorful.
Nice and meaty.
So we're just going to leave them in like larger size chunks like the other?
We're going to leave them in larger size chunks, but they're gonna break down in there. So they're not going to be large chunks of tomato when we're done. But that flavor is going to be in there. And I leave the seeds and just leave it all in there. You could take off the skin, but I'm not going to. And this is really a peasant style dish, so we're gonna go with that theme.
Yeah.
Is it sticking on the bottom, Susan?
No.
So now you're
And
gonna
if it
add
was, we would add more.
a little more oil. Yeah. So now you can add some of that seasoning, that oregano, and your basil, and what is that one?
This is basil leaf, and I have some whole oregano. So
Keep going.
Keep it going.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That's good.
Okay.
And then that one is.
It's whole oregano.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oops. I just broke the lid.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, beautiful. Perfect. And then that one is.
We have pepper. This is the same as.
Is that bay leaf or basil?
Bay leaf. Basil.
And then can you open up that little can of.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're going to add some, these vegetables, traditionally if you're going to eat them, look at they're cooked in a tomato sauce. But the sauce, instead of your traditional sauce with onions and garlic, they're going to be baked with, sauteed with all of these veggies here. So we're going to use some tomato paste. That's going to go right in here. Tomato paste brings a lot of tomato flavor to the table when we're doing it. Now's a good time to add this garlic.
Okay, so now we want to add the tomato paste?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And you can add all of that.
Okay. There we go.
So tomato paste is super concentrated puree of tomato, loaded with lycopene, wonderful antioxidant, and brings the maximum amount of flavor to a tomato-based sauce. So we want to get that on the bottom of the pan to cook in there, caramelize a little bit. So in my time, I've used ratatouille for like a million different things, but it's great. It's great on top of a pizza too.
You need to put this back on
Oops,
this
I'm
here.
sorry.
Okay.
I hear you. I'm just going to cook that. So
Okay.
right now, it's very thick. We're going to thin it out with a little water. Can we put
Okay.
like 2
Yes.
cups of water in there?
Sure.
Put a little more olive oil in there.
Okay, so about 2 cups, you said?
Yeah, that'll be, yeah, let's figure on, let's put one, and then if we need another, we'll go.
Sure.
But we want it to be, you know, a little saucier there.
Okay.
There you go. So we did allow that tomato paste, that should be good for right now.
Okay.
We did allow that tomato paste to go in there, caramelize on the bottom, which is going to bring out a lot of flavors. We're just going to loosen it up with a little water in there. You could also use chicken broth, beef broth, but we're trying to go, you know, beautifully vegetarian here right now. So just going to let it go until everything gets, you know, super tender in there.
Okay. And how long does this usually take once
From
we
this
get,
point?
Yeah, from this point.
I'm going to say 5 minutes. We
Okay.
should go. So we probably have the whole thing has taken us about 20 minutes to make,
Not that.
give or take, right?
Yep.
This stores well, right? So you could, when it was done, you could put it in a container, leave it for 5 days in your refrigerator. You could put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in your freezer. You could put it in some plastic containers. And when you go to work in the morning, go and pull it out, put it in your fridge, and when you come home, you're going to have this beautiful thing waiting for you. So we have all this beautiful flavor on the bottom. So if you see I'm using a wooden spoon here, nicer than scratching it, you know, metal on metal. So
Yes. I've ruined many pots by using metal on metal in my younger years.
Mm-hmm.
So now I only use wooden.
So do we have some kind of like tasting spoons of?
Sure. Let me get
So
you
now the last thing I'm going to add is these fresh tomatoes, right? So remember when you're cooking in layers like this that we put what takes the longest in first and what cooks the quickest goes in last.
Okay, we have some spoons here.
Super.
Oh, that's where all the good stuff is on the bottom.
That's all the good stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
We could probably use one more cup of water now.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Yes. There we are. Have it all ready.
So it looks colorful, right? It's looking
Beautiful.
good.
Mhm.
It's smelling really good. Everything is good. So right now we're going to take a piece of eggplant out and put it right here and just see if it's tender. Can you grab one more, like a big
Sure.
piece?
Mm-hmm. There's a big piece.
And you're going to tell me what you think.
Okay.
Here. Try the big one. So when you're tasting something out, when you're making it, always pick the biggest piece out to taste, because then everything behind that would be cooked.
No,
a little hard, right?
Little hard, but you don't want it mushy.
We don't want it mushy, but we want to catch it. It's still too hard.
Yes.
So of all our vegetables that we eat al dente, eggplant is not on that list. Eggplant is something that has to be 100%, cooked all the way through. So, you want it to just be on the borderline of super creamy and, soft, but no crunch in your eggplant.
No.
So I just want to taste the sauce part here. You can put a little more. Now we can put some salt and pepper.
Okay.
Please.
Some pepper.
Keep going.
Yes.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
There we go.
You're almost there.
Almost.
Okay, that's
Now,
good.
how do you judge how much salt and pepper? I mean, that you would put into your recipes? I mean,
Well, I judge on the mass of food that's in there.
Mhm.
And, if I only had like one portion, how much I put in there. So I kind of break it down portion by portion by portion.
Okay.
And then we're going to go by taste also.
Right. So I'm going to add a little bit more salt.
Mhm. Here we go.
Okay.
That should be good. And then that olive oil, your virgin olive oil, also brings a lot to, this dish as we were cooking along here. Oops, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting.
That's okay.
There we go.
Great.
So the whole thing we're waiting for now is just this eggplant, just to see where it's at, if it's cooked or not. When that's cooked, we're good.
What do you think? Another minute or two?
Another minute or two. Whenever I get it to this point, I always feel like putting mozzarella cheese on it, or Parmesan cheese, or something nice and cheesy, because that's really what it deserves. But
That's definitely what I would do. I'd put cheese on it. I love cheese. All kinds.
so again, the other veggies in there, our zucchini and stuff, we're not al dente or somewhat crunchy is perfect for them, and the yellow squash and the peppers, a little crunch is perfect, but we just got to work with that eggplant a little bit.
And like you said earlier, this would be nice over pasta
Mm-hmm.
or even rice. You might
Yeah.
have some brown rice. Or
It's a beautiful dish,
it
and it's
really is.
versatile. It goes with a lot of different things, and it stores and freezes nicely. So
And it's very colorful.
it's very colorful.
Perfect for the fall harvest and perfect for a farm to school dish.
We could probably use a little more salt.
Great. Okay.
It's good. So we're still about medium heat here, even though we started out with low heat. We put it up a little bit once we started adding all these beautiful ingredients. If we went too low, all of the color would come out of our veg, so we wouldn't have the vibrancy if we were cooking this low and slow at this point. So let me just see this. One more minute, SueAnn.
Oh, wow.
Are we going to serve this in a bowl or anything, or what are we going to do?
Sure. We
If
should.
you have a couple, if you have a serving plate, bowl, whatever you have.
I'll get one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Here, Bill. We have
That's perfect.
a little bowl. How's
Mhm.
that?
So we have
And we
that.
in this drawer right here, we have our
Perfect.
serving spoons.
Okay. So now we've checked the vegetables, right? The key vegetable you got to stay on top of is that eggplant. You want to make
Yes.
sure it's to the soft stage. Everything else is fine al dente. We want to make sure there's enough broth or tomato product in there so that it's not dried out. And then we can turn that
We can
off.
shut off our oven here.
And then this would be, this would be great if you were eating chicken or a steak or whatever as your vegetable. But my recommendation would be to put it in a bowl and serve it. So you wouldn't put it right on your plate. It's messy. It's a wet veg. So we would just serve it up like this. The saucy part is part of the wonderful part.
Awesome. Great.
And that's our beautiful ratatouille.
Well, thank you, Chef Michael,
You're
for
welcome.
coming to visit me today and showing our people out there in the world about making ratatouille, and really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.